Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back with me, Miss Ira, in the presentation of Language Assessment Principle and Classroom Practices. Okay, today we are going to discuss about Chapter 8, entitled Assessing Reading. Okay, let's get started. These are the table of content. Types of reading, micro and macro skill and strategies for reading. Types of reading, designing assessment for perspective reading, interactive reading, selective reading, and also extensive reading. Okay, the first is types or genre of reading. The first is academic reading, for example, a general interest article, magazine, technical report, textbook, thesis, essays, papers, yeah, all about academic, yeah. And then the second is job-related reading. It's like message, memos, reports, schedule, labels, sign, questionnaire, financial document, and etc. That's related to the job. And then personal reading. Okay, just like WhatsApp, yeah, WhatsApp, newspaper, magazine, letter, emails, greeting card, invitation, schedule, receipt, and then menus, maps, calendars, novels, short stories, jokes, drama, and etc. And next is importance of genre of reading. It enables the readers to apply a certain schemata that will assist them in extracting appropriate meaning. And then efficient readers have to know what their purpose is in reading a text, the strategies for accomplishing the purpose, and how to retain the information. Okay, the second is micro and macro skills and strategies for reading. For micro skill for reading, discriminate among the distinctive graphemes and orthographic patterns of English, and then retain chunk of language of different length. In short-term memory, process writing an efficient rate of speed to suit the purpose, recognize a core of words and interpret word or the pattern and their significance, recognize grammatical word classes, and recognize the particular meaning by expressed in different grammatical forms. And then next, for macro skill for reading, recognize the rhetorical forms of written discourse, and then recognize the communicative function of written text, infer context and explicit by using background knowledge from describe events, ideas, etc. And then distinguish between literal and implied meaning. And the last is detect culturally specific references and interpret them in the content of the appropriate cultural schemata. And then some principal strategies for reading comprehension. There are 10, yeah. Identify the purpose, your purpose. Apply spelling rule and convention for pattern decoding. And then use lexical analysis, guess that meaning, skim the text for the test, and then scan the text for specific information, use silent reading technique, use marginal notes, outline, charts, and then distinguish between literal and implied meanings, and then capitalize on discourse markers to the process relationship. And the third is types of reading. Types of reading. There are the perspective, selective, perceptive, selective, and also interactive, and then extensive. Okay, for perceptive involve attending the components of larger stretches to scores, letters, word punctuation, and other graphemic symbols, and then bottom-up processing is implied. And for selective, this is largely an artifact of assessment format, and the stimuli includes sentences, brief paragraphs, and simple charts and graphs. Brief responses are intended, and a combination of bottom-up and top-down processing may be used. And then interactive includes traces of language of several paragraphs to one page or more. And then genre, anecdote, short narrative and description, longer text, questionnaire, memos, genre of interactive, yeah. And then focus, the interactive types is focused to identify relevant features, just like lexical, symbolic, grammatical, and discourse within text of moderately short length with the objective of retaining the information is processed. And the last is extensive. It applies to text of more than a page, up to and including professional article is a technical report, short stories, and books. The purpose of extensive reading is to tap into a learner's global understanding of text, as opposed to asking test takers to zoom in on small details, and then top-down processing is assumed for most extensive reading. And then designing assessment, yeah, for perspective reading. Yeah. It's long, yeah, guys, in this chapter. At the beginning level of reading, second language lies a set of tasks are fundamental and basic. Again, the literary task is implying the learner is in the early stages of becoming literate. And then designing assessment task for perspective reading. The first is reading aloud. The second is written response. The third is multiple choice. And the last is picture cued items. Reading aloud. The test taker sees separate letters, words, and or short sentences and read them aloud, one by one, in the presence of an administrator, and any recognizable or oral approximation of the target response is considered correct. Then written response, the same stimuli is presented, and the test taker task is to reproduce the proof in writing. Evaluation of test taker response must be carefully treated. And then multiple choice grapheme recognition task. The test taker read, circle the odd item, the one of the that doesn't belong. Piece, book, piece, put, piece. Yeah. This is minimal pair distinction. And then picture cued item. Test takers are shown a picture along with a written text and are given possible tasks to perform. And the fifth is designing assessment tasks, selective reading. For selective reading, selective reading focuses on formal aspect of language, and then it includes what many incorrectly think of as testing vocabulary and grammar. This is the example of multiple choice, yeah? He is not married means he is single, yeah. If there's no doorbell, please. Neil type knock, shout, knocked on the door, and the mouse is under the bed. The bank robbery occurred while I was in the restroom. Yeah, that's kind of multiple choice for vocabulary or grammar task. And then contextualize multiple choice vocabulary. Do you like champagne? No, I can't stand. Okay. Do you like to work by yourself? Yes, I like to work independently. This can contextualize, yeah? And then this is multiple choice closed vocabulary grammar task. Fill in the blank. And next is matching task. It's match the number into the alphabet. Yeah, exhausted, tired, disappointed, unhappy, enthusiastic, excited, empathic, understanding of others. And then this is selected response, fill in vocabulary task. This is the example, yeah. And then matching task advantage. Advantage matching task is it over an alternative traditional multiple choice or fill in the blank formats and are easier to construct than multiple choice item. Matching task disadvantages. Disadvantage, it become more of a puzzle solving process than a genuine test of comprehension, as test takers struggle with a search for a match. And then editing task, yeah. Editing for grammatical or rhetorical error is widely used to method for assessing linguistic competence in reading. It doesn't only focus on grammar, but also introduces a stimulation of the authentic task of editing or screening errors in reader passage. Multiple choice grammar editing task, yeah, this is the example. Try to find the errors. And then picture cued task. Multiple choice picture cued response. This one. This is the example of picture cued task. This is also diagram labeling task. which one is sped up, which one is mirror, which one is shower, which one is sink, soap, toilet, toothbrush, yeah, etc. And then kept filling task, the response is to write word for or phrase to create sentence completion items where task takers read part of sentence and then complete it by writing a phrase. Doctor, what should I do if I get sick? It is best to stay at home and blah blah blah. If you have a fever, please blah blah blah. You should drink as much blah blah blah. The worst thing can you do is blah blah blah. Yeah, so in cap filling task, the test taker should complete the space, the blank space with a phrase. Cap filling task disadvantage, it has a questionable assessment of reading ability. The task is required both reading and writing performance, yeah? It is scoring the variety of creative responses that are likely to appear another drawback. A number of judgment is needed on what comprise a correct response. Next, the sixth is design assessment for interactive reading. For interactive reading, okay, this level have a combination, implies a little more focus on top-down processing, and then texts are a little longer from a paragraph. The activities for interactive reading is closed task, the ability to fill in the gaps, yeah. Closed tasks are usually minimum 2 paragraphs in length. Typically, every 7 words plus or minus 2 is deleted. Fixed ratio deletion. All right. And then 2 approaches to the scoring of closed task. How to scoring the closed task? Exact word method and then appropriate word method. Yeah. All right. And then this is the example of closed procedure, fixed ratio deletion. This is the preposition and conjunction. And then the variation of standard closed testing is C-test and closed elite procedure. Closed test disadvantage. Just is neither the word to insert nor the frequency of insertion appears to have any rationale. And then fast and efficient readers are not adept at detecting the intrusive word. And then impromptu reading plus comprehension question. Okay, the traditional read passage and answer some question technique, which is the oldest of the most common. For example, reading comprehension passage, yeah, and computer-based tuple, reading comprehension item. And then short answer task, open-ended reading comprehension question. Okay, this is the example of open-ended reading comprehension question. Next, editing or longer text. The advantages is authenticity is increased. The task stimulate proofreading once on essay, and then if the task is connected to a specific curriculum, the task designer can throw up specification for a number of grammatical and rhetorical categories that match the content of courses. This is a scanning. This is the strategy, yeah? Used by the reader to find relevant information in a passage or in a test. Okay. And then ordering task, sometimes called strip story technique. Okay, variation on this can serve as an assessment of overall global understanding of a short of story and of the cohesive devices that signal the order to event or ideas. Next is sentence ordering task. It was almost midnight. John was still awake because he didn't blah, 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 blah. This is kind of sentence ordering task. Next is put the scrambled sentences into the correct order that they happen. A, John ate some candies. Yeah, based on this passage, yeah. The information based on this passage, and then give the correct or incorrect. Does it happen in the passage or not? Okay, and the 7 is information transfer, reading chart, maps, graph, diagram, sentence, and ordering task. It requires not only an understanding of a graphic and verbal convention of the medium, but also a linguistic ability. Is it often accompanied accompanied by oral or written discourse. To comprehend information in this medium, learners must be able to comprehend the specific convention, comprehend labels, headings, number, and symbols, comprehend the possible relationship among the elements of the graphic, and act comprehending graphic include the linguistic performance of oral written interpretation, comments, question, and etc. Okay, this is the 7 designing assessment test for extensive reading. Extensive reading, yeah? It involves somewhat longer text. Longer text. The first is skimming task. It is the process of rapid coverage of reading matter, determine its gist or main idea, his prediction strategy to use to give a reader's sense of topic and purpose of the text. And then test taker skims the text and answer the following question. Now, skim the text and answer the following question. This is the example of the question. And then summarizing and responding. It requires a synopsis of overview of the text, okay? This is the direction for summarizing, and also evaluating summary is difficult. Criteria for assessing a summary is express accurately the main idea, is written in the student own words, and is logically organized. And then display facility in order language clearly, yeah? And then next, responding, it asks the reader to provide his or her own opinion on the text as a whole, on statement or issues within. And then direction of responding is, in the article of questioning the air we breathe, the author suggests that a global dependence on fossil fuels will eventually make air in a large city toxic. Write an essay in which you agree or disagree with the author's thesis. Support your opinion with information from the article and from your own experience. Okay, and then this is how we're scoring. It's also difficult, yeah, because the subjectivity holistic scoring scale for summarizing and responding. 3, 2, 1, and 0. This is the criteria. Okay, and then the last is note-taking and outlining. They fall on the category in informal assessment. Their utility is in the strategic training that learners gain in retaining information through marginal notes that highly key information of organizational outlines that put supporting ideas into a visually manageable framework. Okay, right. That's a long explanation, yeah, about the 8th chapter. I hope that you can understand. And then don't forget about further information, read this book, okay? Language assessment, principle and classroom practices. Okay, I'm Ms. Ira. Thank you for watching this video. See you on the next video. Bye-bye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.